Hi guys, Paul UK Reefer back for another update. So when I last left you, I said I was just going to leave it for a while. I'm not going to put any stock in, I'm just going to leave it to settle and acclimatise. Yeah, already put a few frags in the other day, so went completely against what I said. But really, the long story short is, the only thing that's changed since is some diatoms appearing, which is a good sign, because having absolutely nothing was getting me a little bit concerned. So the diatoms are on the bottom, they're not really getting in the way, although I'll probably go and get a couple of conches to start chewing them up. But yeah, the tank's going really well. I've absolutely nailed in all of the readings. We've been doing pretty much spot on 400 calcium, 1350 mag, alk at about 8.5. I'm going to just push them readings up maybe towards the top end of 8 for alk and 420, 440 for calcium. But yeah, the tank is stable. I'm dosing 20 millis of alk and about 5 of calcium a day, and that seems to keep it pretty much rock solid. Magnesium doesn't change at all. I do a weekly water change of 10%. No other biological filtration other than what you see, really. So let's just have a look at the overall filtration. Obviously lights, pumps, live rock that is now live, which was ceramic media. Just to round up, straight through to a couple of filter socks. I've got 4 sets of these. I change them every couple of days. It's a bit long-winded, but I know I can put some filter floss in the other type, and that may happen eventually, but at the minute I'm happy doing it, and it's keeping the tank really clean. And then through the skimmer chamber, through a bubble trap, and back up where the heater's back here as well. And that's literally it. This is the dosing unit. I've got alkalinity there, magnesium there, dosed in, all on a Wi-Fi dosed up with a Senai as well, so I can check ammonia and also pull that out and do par readings for the lights. Change the lights settings to make it a bit more lighter. I was doing AB plus and I was literally just getting pure blue all day, and it was getting on my wife's nerves a bit. So during the day I've got a bit more light, white light coming through, but still at least the same amount of blue into the evening as well. So it's pretty much the normal high growth pattern off of EcoSmart with a few tweaks just to make it a little bit lighter. I've checked the par. I've got it up right up at 90% because I've got diffusers on the 2 lights. The par is 350 odd at this point, down to 250, and no lower than 180 at the bottom. So it's quite bright, quite strong lighting, but that's because I'm going to be SPS dominant. So talking of corals, oh, before I move on to corals, last thing, in this front part of the sump, which I'm still not sure what I'm doing with, I've decided for a week a month I'm going to run oh god, not calcium, goodness me, some carbon. So I got my carbon doser out. I put a whole week's worth of carbon, put the carbon in for a week and pulled it back out again. And I'm going to do that once a month and see how that goes. There's not really much of a yellowing in the tank yet, so I don't really see a massive benefit from it, but I don't want to over carbon it and pull out too many good things. I'm just going to try that and see how we go. Take it or leave it. But yeah, nitrates are staying pretty still at 7 or 8 each week with just a 10% water change, so doing really well. I'm holding back on the feeding. They're getting fed every day, but it is all at one time, well maybe twice a day, but only mysis, shrimp and a few other little bits and pieces, and the whole thing is cleared before I add any more with all the flow off. So I have just fed them, so there was a tiny little bit of remnants flying around in the tank at the minute. But yeah, that low flow I'm hoping will mean that the corals want to grow. So on to frags. I have put 5 frags in, all SPS and all just tester pieces. They're easier SPS. I can see the clownfish getting chased off there by the bigger one. She's still giving that one a few digs here and there just to show who's boss. You can see the diatoms in the bottom there, just coming through. The lights have been on all day, so it's worse in the evening, but yeah, I'll get a conch in there and that'll suck that up. So, frag 1. Monty plate, really bright green. This is obviously in white light, but zooming into it, it's a really lovely piece. I've got all these corals from out of the Blue Marines, which is in Falsworth in Manchester, a cool shop. They offer you tea and cake when you go in as well, although I haven't taken them up on it. Many do. Really cheap frags, they're like 10 quid a pop, and they're good tester frags. They're from other people's tanks, so I iodine dipped all of them before I put them in, and they even suggested to do so. So that, yeah, gone in. It's been in about a week now. Really strong colour, stayed on, went in fine. Taking a few photos of it, and I'm hoping we'll start seeing some growth. I mean, the edges are white anyway, but I think that's because it was growing when it got here. Frag 2. a green hystrix. Couple of little marks on it right at the top. Oh, sorry, big finger there. Right at the top here. I had to trim that back because there was a couple of bits where the flesh had come off. Not sure whether that would be detrimental to the whole thing long term, but I'll keep an eye on it. They're pretty easy to grow apparently, so if I kill that then I'm not doing great, but I just thought I'd chuck it in. I think they're quite easily growing, so hopefully that would be a good one to start with. And then some of my favourite coral, which are also quite easy, which is Stylo 4. I've got 2 Stylos. This one, which has got some really nice growth. Polyps are out most of the day. A bit bleached at the bottom here, I think from just handling previously maybe. But yeah, I really like the colour on that, and when the blues are on at night it really pops. Coral 4, another, oh, let's try and find it, goodness me. Another Stylo, this one quite dark, although the Royal Grammar's doing its best to steal the limelight. With darker blue, the polyps stay out quite a lot of the time. Again, it looks nicer in the blue lighting. It's got a bit of a green tinge to the polyps as well. And then the last one, I took a bit of a gamble and went with some random acro, which I don't expect to survive at all, and it's not actually looking the best. But the tops of this go fluorescent green. I don't know, again, if anyone in the comments knows what type of acro that is when it looked better, but it's been in a week. I iodine dipped it in quite a strong solution, so I probably killed it doing that, but I just thought I'd take one for the heck of it. When I do go into full acro, I'll be a bit more careful with placing them, but I just thought I'll chuck it in and see how it goes, you never know. So it's not looking the best, probably pop its clog soon. There's a bit of sort of algae on it, and it's still got a little bit of colour, so I'll leave it for the minute, but I'm not expecting anything from that. But yeah, I'm probably going to do that, just find a few little frags here and there, chuck them in and see how they go, try and keep the balance, all the levels, and yeah, and if any of the frags go, you've lost a few quid and it's not the end of the world, whilst the tank's stabilising. They're all frags from aquaculture corals in the UK, so I'm not taking anything from the wild and destroying it. I'm just trying to find the right solution to long-term grow lots more corals and create loads more frags for other aquarists that are aquacultured. So I'm hoping that this plan long-term will have more benefits to the corals that are around in the area. Fish-wise, all absolutely perfect. A couple of marks on the little clown when it first came, they're all gone. I think they were just kiss marks from the bigger clown. Literally everything else is working fine, so all is good. I'm going to try and get these diatoms down. The rock's starting to brown up a bit. Now we've got a couple of frag plugs. This frag plug here has got quite a bit of coralline on it, so I'm hoping that will start seeding the tank. But again, I'm in no rush. I'm just loving it. It's really going really well. I'm really involved with the tank, and obviously over time I'll try and automate more things, because that enthusiasm doesn't always stick up in this hobby, but it's going really well. And we've got some corals in, so we have a mini reef. So yeah, what I'll do is give it a few weeks now and come back and tell you if I've absolutely killed all of them, how my levels are going with the dose in, and if I've put any more frags in or fish in by that point. Probably not fish, I'm quite happy with the stock. So again, any comments, anybody know what that acro is? Anyone know if I've misnamed any of the other plants or species in here, because it is always possible. I wouldn't say I am some sort of pro reefer, but I am, will only tell you from my experience or what I've read. Anything in the comments, if you need any help, please ask. I'll do my best, and yeah, stay tuned guys, the reef is coming along.